have your phone repaired within the hour. No hassle, no mess, no stress. We love fixing cell phones. Your cell phone has become part of your daily activities. You've noticed your cell phone is not charging properly. It could be a charge port issue or your charger. Come in for free. We'll test your phone and your charger. You have an expensive phone. Don't feed it with a cheap charger. A cheap charger can actually damage your device. Our high-quality chargers are affordable. Cell Surgeon, 140 Northgate Mall Drive, right next to Old Chicago Pizza. 423-668-0100. www.thecellsurgeon.com. Please like us on Facebook at facebook.com/thecellsurgeon.
Get $10 off a screen repair. Mention Hot News Talk Radio. Broken screen, phone not charging, water damage, battery given out. Cell Surgeon in Northgate Mall next to Old Chicago Pizza. Check us out on Facebook. Open Sunday. Cell Surgeon. We bring your phone back to life.
Finding just the right place to live can be a daunting task. Stop your search. In Chattanooga, the place to live is Cross Creek Villas for under $1,000 and available for immediate move-in. You can enjoy this 2-bedroom split layout, over 1,000 square feet, 9-foot ceilings, an extra large patio or balcony. And don't forget to ask about their preferred employer program. Cross Creek Villas is a gated community offering a 24-hour fitness facility, a beautiful pool and hot tub, and Cross Creek Villas is pet friendly. Stroll the pet park with your best friend and enjoy the free use of their business center and clubhouse. Plus, if you mention you heard this on the radio, your application fee is free. Cross Creek Villas, close to downtown off of Highway 58. Go to crosscreekchattanooga.com. That's crosscreekchattanooga.com or call 894-0446. That's 894-0446. Redefine the way you live at Cross Creek Villas. Go to crosscreekchattanooga.com or call 894-0446. Cross Creek Villas.
MLS 2239. Listen up, y'all. Ben Phillips Home Rate Mortgage, 805-9100. I'm in the business of saving people money. And if you want to save money, pick that cell phone up right now. 805-9100. I received a call that I won't forget. A family of 5. The husband's a TVA engineer. Financial stress was rising from medical bills and children in college. We lowered their rate, paid off their bills, and saved them $800 per month. Now they're living stress-free. And the best part is this. They're skipping 2 payments and paying off their home 7 years faster. It's easy, and you can do it too. It just takes 10 minutes, 1 phone call to 805-9100. There's no cost and no obligation. So why wouldn't you call 805-9100? Or if you're at your desk like me, get a quick quote at homeratemortgage.com. That's 805-9100 or homeratemortgage.com.
In the middle of our street.
Hi, I'm Sabrina with Sabrina Realty Associates. Now is a great time to sell your home. In our area, inventory is at an all-time low, which translates into higher sales prices. Call us today at 423-499-7780 to set up a free consultation and discuss our unique and aggressive marketing programs. We will provide you with a free market analysis to determine the right value of your home. Call us today at 423-499-7780 or visit our website at sabrinarealty.com.
In the middle of our street.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
Hot 1240 Hot News Talk Radio with your Hot News Now update. A child shot at 10 o'clock p.m. on Water Street, according to police. They say they were notified of the shooting after the child was taken to the hospital, not in an ambulance, but in a personal vehicle. This is now the second shooting on Water Street. Just on Sunday, 24-year-old Marquise Jackson was shot and killed on Water Street, downtown Chattanooga. If you have any information about this killing, you're asked to call 423-698-2525. The child is expected to survive non-life-threatening gunshot wounds, according to the paramedics. A man in Cleveland, Tennessee, was found with a Serbian AK-47 under his bed. The police say the rifle was found with 1 round in the chamber, 29 in the magazine. And Mr. Dickey, the defendant, appeared before Judge Sandy Mattis in Chattanooga, saying that the rifle was not his. It had been purchased by his girlfriend at a pawn shop in Cleveland, although he did admit to shooting it, according to the judge. County Commission is going to be voting next Wednesday on whether or not to allow beer and wine at special events in county parks. If it's going on in the Tennessee Valley, it's going on. Hot 1240 Hot News Talk Radio.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
Becoming partly cloudy out there for the afternoon. A little breezy, but mainly dry with high temperatures back into the lower 90s tonight. Muggy lows mid-70s. For Friday, Hot, humid again. High temperatures 92 to 95 with highs back into the 90s for the weekend. This forecast is brought to you by JCPenney. Get $10 off when you spend $25 or more with coupon. It's a brand and a deal you won't find anywhere else. That's getting your pennies worth at JCPenney. And I'm Swarm Machine 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Hoare.
On AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio.
Welcome back to the Art Beat of Chattanooga, where art lives. I'm Jillian Collins, your host, and I'm a local artist. Also, my website's Vanguard Artistry. You can check out some of my work there. I'd like to thank Judah Guitars for being my sponsor, and it's located in Middle Valley Road and Boy Scout Road in Saudi Daisy, and that's where all your wildest dreams come true. He's got some wonderful stuff. Check it out. So I'm excited to have Donnie Marsh with me today, a local comedian / businessman. We'll get into that in a minute, but kind of like the starving artist, the starving comedian, maybe.
Sort of like that.
Yeah, kind of like that. So real excited to have you here today. The first comedian I've had on the show. It took me a while to get into Chattanooga, that level, to meet the theater side of things, or the comedians and that sort of thing, because I'm a visual artist, painter. So now I feel like, finally I've met some people who do this other part of the arts. And we say the definition of art is we create to produce an emotional response. And that's certainly comedy. Whatever response, you're creating that.
I've produced some emotional responses. I've produced some silence as well.
You make them cry. I mean, they're just, please stop, and they're crying. Or
no, there's definitely there've been times that I've heard the sound of an audience slowly realizing that they're not in good hands. Just that really quiet, takes over. But,
yeah.
But yeah,
bringing them down to the base level where it's just, this is too human. Or
no, well, everybody is funny around their friends, I think, and everything that I come up with is, of course, is funny to me. But then, you take it on stage and saying it in front of strangers is a whole nother thing. So you kind of have to rely on the audience to kind of tell you what's funny. And the place to do that is at an open mic. If I'm at a show that people have actually paid to go to, then I'm trying stuff that I know works,
Right. So as far as like you said, with your friends, you have a set of experiences you can base your funny comedy off of as you talk. But to reach a broader audience of the population, you maybe have to go to a different level of what they'll all get.
Yeah, or at least a large majority. And there are different audiences as well.
Well, what's one of your funniest things? Can you give our listener a quick sample of something funny, or can't on the spot like that?
It's a little high pressure, but one thing that sometimes I close with is I tell people that one of the things I've learned over the last few years is that women definitely like dogs more than they like men. So I don't do any like dating apps or anything like that. Instead, I simply advertise myself as a rescue dog on Craigslist. And it's very simple. It just says free to a good home, 200-pound corgi. Knows tricks, can bring money home, very loyal, within reason, and not fixed, would like to stay that way, but negotiable.
That's awesome. Yeah. I thought you were going to say basically instead you would take a dog to a park, because you cannot walk past most women with a cute dog, and they're going to stop and pet it, and
Yeah. I don't have one currently. So
yeah, you could rent one, like become a dog walker.
Yeah, I'm my own pet. I take myself on walks.
Why a corgi? This because of the wrinkles? Are they?
Oh no, So I used to work in a suit shop, and actually at a men's warehouse when I was 20, and they had to tailor all the suits specifically to me because I have a long torso and short limbs, and one of the tailors told me in her thick Persian accent, like, if you were a dog, you would be a corgi. And so I've just sort of stuck with that.
Yeah, it's funny because my mom always said I looked like a basset hound all my life. So the long ears and the sad eyes. So it's funny how people do look like dogs. I mean,
sometimes
that makes a great skit. And the other night when we were at the show at, where is that? It's not Grand Falloon.
Oh, Cinerama.
Cinerama, the new Cinerama downtown, attached to the Swine Gallery. There was a dog there all night long, and
people couldn't stop petting him.
Yeah, but I think one of the comedians got up and started telling dog jokes immediately because they were just funny.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. So how long have you, what started your dream or this road for you to be a comedian? And can you tell us a little bit about that journey? Because I know nothing about how that works.
Sure. I think everybody's is a little bit different. I think most comedians, if I can even call myself that, start out with people telling.
If you can't, then you got to go home now.
Yeah. A lot of your friends will tell you, like, oh, you're funny, you should be a comedian, in that sort of offhand way. And I didn't do that for the longest time because I thought, well, I have friends who are funnier than I am, and they don't do stand-up comedy, so what right do I have? And it just happened that in the last couple of years, a few of my friends started to get a little bit more insistent about it, and sort of grab me by the collar and say, like, you're wasting your time, you need to do this. And then strangely enough, I'm a finance student at UTC as well, and I went to a conference in New York, and one of the main speakers was a guy named Mike Jacobs, who is the vice president of the Royal Bank of Canada, and in his spare time he also opens for Richard Lewis. And I went up and shook his hand afterwards. He's about 65 years old, and I shook his hand and I said, thanks for showing me that you can have a normal life and do this, because I always thought to do stand-up comedy you had to be borderline homeless for 20 years and then hopefully you'd make it one day. And he said, oh no, he says, just wherever you are, just start doing it. And I said, yeah, but I live in Chattanooga, like there's probably not much of a scene. And he said, no, there's always a place.
Yes.
And so he lit a fire under me, and I said, okay, all right, I'm going to do it. And the first place I found was at the Comedy Catch's old location on Brainerd Road. They've since moved to the Choo Choo.
Right.
And they had an open mic twice a month called Giggles Grill. And so I went there and tried it out. And then after a few times there, I started doing JJ's Bohemia as well on Wednesday nights. And that's sort of become my home base now. And I think for a lot of young comedians, they do that. And if you get a little bit more established, you can start doing Comedy Catch more regularly. And then there's also a couple of great open mics called Comedy Fight at Honest Pint and Target Practice, which is at McHale's at Hickson. So there's 4 open mics right there that anybody who's, if you just want to hear that silence from the audience, you should try it out.
Is there a place people can Google to find those things that's like a unified thing or not?
Not yet, actually. Some of us are working on that. Just this week we've kind of realized that there's a real need for that. And so we want to get to a point where if you simply just Google Chattanooga comedy, there will be a page that's sort of all encompassing.
Like a network of it. Because that was the thing. I had a difficult time putting that together in the Chattanooga arts myself. And, it's not like a negative thing because we artists don't all have that. There's some organizations that were grouped together like Ava and things like that. But, I just think with something like theater, it was something I want people to be able to find. I mean, who doesn't have a comedy station on their Pandora or whatever?
Sure.
And, so your Wednesday nights at JJ Bohemia's still?
That's right. 8:30. The show is called Free Kittens. I didn't name it. And Thursday night is Target Practice at McHale's. Sunday night at 10 p.m. If you work in the restaurant industry, that's a really good time. It's the Comedy Fight, and that's hosted by Ian Sharp. And that's a really fun show where each comic gets 7 minutes, 10 comics, 7 minutes. And then at the end, there's a set where the 2 comics have to kind of go at each other on a predetermined subject. And so whoever gets the most laughs during that segment wins, and they advance to the next round. Our most recent champion was Grace Holtz. And it was really exciting to watch.
That sounds really fun.
Yeah.
So, there's so many fun things to do in Chattanooga when you find them, and that's amazing. So you've been doing this how many years?
1 year.
1 year. You've been doing comedy 1 year. That's awesome. So you just branched out and just started doing it.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's great.
Yeah.
But were you a class clown as a kid?
Oh, actually, I was in my circle of friends, but not in school so much. I was homeschooled off and on, and then my parents thought it would be really funny after I'd skipped a couple of grades to drop me back into school later on. And so I was really just trying to survive at that point and keep my head down. So I generally, when there was somebody in the class who was really funny, I would sit back and just watch them. But
so do you have a homeschool repertoire? Because wow, I'm pretty sure my friends would always say, because I homeschooled as well. Do you guys just stay in your pajamas all day? It's like, yeah, we do. We just, that's what we do.
There's some people who, there's always people in the crowd who relate very strongly to that, especially in this, part of the country. I'm from Florida originally, but there's there's a lot of stuff there. Let's just say I spent a lot more time around my parents than most kids have to endure. So
I think my kids feel the same way. So
I am very lucky that both my parents are very funny. So that was helpful. Everyone in my family's pretty hilarious.
So you have good sense of humor in your background.
Oh yeah, my dad used to reenact Steve Martin and Andy Kaufman bits for me when I was 8 years old, and just the way that he would do them, cracked me up, and so that was probably my introduction to comedy. He was always a big fan.
Yeah, Steve Martin, one of the world's best comics ever. I mean, just amazing. And Robin Williams, obviously, killer. And well, that wasn't maybe the right thing to say with Robin Williams, but yeah. So, well, what else you got for us? If you want to share a couple minutes, like 5 minutes or something of a routine. I don't want to put pressure on you.
No problem.
Feel free to let it rip. I mean,
so what I really want to kind of direct people to is there's a comedy special that some of us put together called No Adult Supervision, and you can look that up on Facebook. The trailer's on YouTube as well, and it's me and 9 other local comics who basically, I mean, it's called No Adult Supervision because we're all fairly new at this. Like, the only room in town that would have me do 20 minutes is the room that I personally have to pay for and rent. It's none of us are like quite that established yet. And I was in a band about 10 years ago, and we recorded some music, but we recorded it in a living room, with blankets on the walls, did that, kind of independent thing. And unfortunately, to this day, it sounds like it. And so I decided if I ever, did something again, I was going to pay for production value. So this time around, I just thought there's a tremendous amount of talent locally. I wanted to step on the gas and just put something out there for myself, but I also thought it would be a lot more fun if I involved a lot of the other really talented people in town. And there's probably, 20 local comics that I think are hilarious. And to me, it wasn't so important who I asked to be on it. Just there needed to be a larger number, because the more of them there were, the less pressure there was on me to be great.
And don't you find too that the more you interact within your field and creatively, intellectually, it stimulates more and more thoughts and funny things? And
absolutely, yeah.
That interaction is key, because that's what comedy's really about, is interacting with someone and getting their brain to go to the funniest place. I mean, Chelsea, she's like I adore her. I mean, I study her. I just think her humor is hysterical and base, and she'll just do anything. But
this is Chelsea Clinton, right?
Yeah, not Chelsea Clinton.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Chelsea on Netflix.
Oh, different. Okay.
She's a very base, funny female comedian
that
has a talk show.
Chelsea Handler, yeah.
Chelsea Handler.
I know.
So it's funny because you threw me, because she just had this thing where she had Hillary Clinton speaking to Chelsea and telling her how proud she is and how wonderful she is. And of course, she was really speaking to Chelsea Clinton.
Okay.
But Chelsea Handler said that, here's Hillary Clinton speaking about me, of course. So.
I'm sorry. So you were saying, talking about learning from other comics. I would say that there are a lot of people here locally who I've studied, and one of them, I think the first time I went to Giggles Grill, Natasha Ferrier, she's on the special. Her stage presence and just the way she jumped on the stage and grabbed the mic and she's like, "Hey!" I was like, oh, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to actually, engage the audience and be, entertaining.
So you put together your own school, basically. You got like 20 comedians around you, and you're all just learning, but not learning like you don't know, but learning and growing.
Yeah, for sure. And also, watching some really good specials, on Netflix. One of the things that inspired me to produce this, to produce No Adult Supervision, was Maria Bamford's special called The Special on Netflix, which she filmed in front of an audience of 2.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's hilarious. Because she's great, but it's very low budget. It really works. And I thought, oh, okay, well, let's shoot this in a small art space downtown. And I hired the videographers at Relic. That's RELIK. They are available to film it and just get that really high production value and make it look really nice.
So how can people access this production?
You can simply Google No Adult Supervision, and it should pop right up on YouTube. There's a Facebook page. Please check it out and watch it. you'll be deceived by the video. We all look a lot cooler than we really are. And but yeah, it's great. We're going to release it probably September 1st. That's the date that we're shooting
All right,
for.
so it's not there. We can't see it yet.
No, not the whole special.
Just a trailer,
not.
right?
That's right.
Okay,
yeah.
So kind of a tease, and then
That's
to see
right.
the rest later.
Mhm.
That's awesome, and I just think Chattanooga is amazing, and there's so many talented people here.
For sure.
And the things to do here. That's kind of like why I want to talk to all of you other artists, because the more we connect, the more your friends share this interview, this show, the more we share about art in Chattanooga, the more that is higher profile. It brings more people to our city.
Mhm.
It gives us more opportunities. So it's just a great thing, and definitely got to hit JJ's and hear your show.
Oh yeah, and it was really great last night. Each comic gets about 5 minutes or so, and the good news is if there's somebody there that you really can't stand, it's going to be over soon, so it's all right.
Right. It seems like anytime I've watched comedy, there's different people respond to different things. So
For sure.
So you're no adult supervision. Is that G-rated? Because I'm just thinking, are kids going to Google that? No adult supervision. They probably Google that every day.
Well, you can probably guess just from the trailer, but it's the special as a whole. Absolutely, if you were to rate it, it would be rated R. That's kind of why I'm cutting. Like, I honestly didn't realize how relatively clean my set was until I saw everybody else's. So what I wanted to do anyway was take everybody's individual chunk and put it on YouTube just for them, so to publicize themselves, get on festivals, and there's probably only going to be about 12 minutes of my set on the special, but I recorded almost an hour that I can release in small little 3 to 5 minute chunks.
That's great. And it seems like comedy almost has to be R-rated. Somehow you can't capture the base of life, the really funny thoughts that we have. I mean, some of my funniest things that I think people talk about are, what they really think when their child is doing something.
Oh, sure.
I can't say certain things on the air, but they're doing something and you're thinking something entirely different than you're saying to your child, and they'll say that. It's so funny because
honesty is funny. I mean,
Yes.
when you, I've heard people say that. I mean, the two kinds of funny. One is when you say what everybody was thinking. The other is when you say what nobody was thinking, and it's really absurd and left field. And I like that, or Gary Larson, Far Side kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, I grew up in church, and that's one of the best things about that is that it kind of trains you how to be inappropriate without being dirty.
Yeah.
So you can you know how to say things in such a way, like you can kind of toe the line, and people know what you mean.
Don't touch the butt. Right. Yeah. That's kind of a concept. Yes.
Yeah.
But that's, I guess for you, what you said, honesty. I think that's a great concept. What's another concept of comedy that really you think makes, effective comedy?
Any awkward human interactions. That's why I anything where you're not, like, I frequently laugh at funerals because there's usually some weird thing, like when people are trying to, like, somebody hasn't been in church in a long time, but they're trying to act more spiritual than they are to impress grandma or something, and so they'll say, like, the scripture says he leadeth me down to the paradise city where the grass is green and the girls are pretty. Lord, won't you please take George home? And things like that. So
yeah. See, now the prayer I grew up with was more like, bless the potatoes, bless the meat, sit down, you hungry devils, it's time to eat. That's what my grandfather used to say. But I was also raised in church, so I know what you mean. And there's a couple Christian comedians who, don't hack it up and make it all about that, but some of it's very funny, taking those paradoxes and those awkward things that, from Christianity and relating it. But I still enjoy the base parts of humor, like you said, the honesty, the awkwardness, the ridiculousness of life, and even the hard times are made to be funny, because we have to laugh about even rough times.
For sure. Yeah.
So you have a business, a daytime business, because you're a starving comedian like me, like a starving artist.
Yes. I would say that this special is it's effectively brought to you by New View Window Cleaning, because I do window cleaning and pressure washing, and I just kind of scraped my money together over this summer to pay for this, as well as my classes going back to UTC.
That's awesome.
This fall.
So again, this is a concept. We just have like 1 minute, but artists and of all kinds, we're not any one type of person. We're not hippies. We're serious business people who have creative dreams as well.
In some cases.
And sometimes there's the view that, we're all like running around with patchouli oil, which is great. But, serious comedian, serious at life, serious about comedy. Donnie Marsh, Chattanooga resident, been here about 4 years. And say the name of your business one more time.
New View Window Cleaning.
New View Window Cleaning. And when you said no pressure earlier, I was laughing because I'm like, no pressure.
Yeah.
Pressure washing. I'm not very funny. Just saying.
Puns are, they're a gateway. They're a gateway.
Well, I think I'm funny. My friends don't laugh, but.
I write most of my stuff while I'm pressure washing somebody's driveway, just looking down going, sometimes I find that it doesn't work.
Well, thank you so much, Donnie, for joining us today. It's been great to hear you meet a comedian in Chattanooga, and JJ's Wednesday night to hear him live. So thanks for joining us on the Art Beat of Chattanooga. Thank you, Judah Guitars, where all your wildest dreams come true, for being my sponsor. Have a great day.